We just start the top of the show, and then we'll film the ending, and we're good to go.
Good. I got shit to do.
That's our intro clip. That's our pre-show clip right there. Oh yeah, sorry. It didn't. We are live, everybody. But we're also on tape. We are deep down in the bowels of music. Season 2, Episode 9, Episode 109 of Kamloops Last Week. Christopher Foulds, Magic Mike, and Bill at the controls. 9.
Got nothing for 9.
You don't even want to be here today. You just announced it.
No.
I got shit to do, you just said.
I got things. I'm busy. Work is very busy right now. So yeah, 9. What's 9? 9.
He's just got things to do.
9.
There's got to be something.
I can't think of
old
anything
lion
now.
number. Russ Courtnall was number 9 with the Canucks.
Oh yes, that's right. He was. Russ Courtnall that was great. 94, the best. The most entertaining team of all time.
I don't think Courtnall was there for 94.
Yeah, Russ and Jeff were both there in 94.
Not in the Cup run year.
I think they were.
No, I think Russ came after the Cup run.
You think so?
Yep.
Am I wrong?
I think so.
Okay.
Tough start for you.
Yeah, tough start for me. Yeah.
I don't even know where to begin with that one. 9 is my favorite math number.
How come?
Because 9 times 9 is 81, and 8 plus 1 is 9.
Ah, that's cool.
I love 9 times 2 is 18, and that's 1 plus 8.
9 divided by 3 is 3, and that's 3.
You like the symmetry of it.
I just
9?
like 9. I don't know.
9's a cool number. I like 9.
Yeah.
How's life, Mike? What's new?
Oh, life is great. New stuff. We just had a really busy last week. We did this event called the National Language and Culture. This is where we've been working with Kamloops in the Language and Culture Department for years, doing like recordings and working through the 215 and everything like that. But they've established a national language and culture team. So we did this really special event where it was the first event that they ever had together, where they had delegates from Nunavut, from all over Canada, and it was amazing.
Where was it held at?
I was held at the Arbor. They wanted to do something. I was down to earth, right on the ground floor of one of their most sacred places, which is the Powwow Arbor.
Yeah.
And there were some throat singers there for entertainment from Nunavut, and they played this paddle drum. And I got to say, it's really amazing cultures. I learned how they use seal fat to make light and heat, and this is so far up north that it's darkness most of the time, and it was just one of those. It was a great feeling event. It was a great looking event, and you felt like something powerful was happening.
They're having Kamloops is having it's on November 3rd, I think, some kind of conference on this on the language. I can't pronounce it, but the Secwepemc language,
Yep.
and trying to keep it alive, because I think every week like 3 or 4 languages die in the world. So this is kind of cool. You also were there for music. Weren't you there for the music?
No, I did not do that event. That was Rod Bandura doing music for the people.
Yeah, with the Marty
and that was
project. That
with
was
the
cool.
symphony and
800
Sage Hills
people were
drummers.
there. Yes.
Yeah. Great event.
At the same place at the Arbor.
Rod Bandura it was number 1 on the Indigenous tracks across Canada, and is a great person in our community, and that was a good event.
I've seen them play sometimes at lounges in town at the Plaza. They used to play in the corner there, and they're very good music.
Have you been to the Plaza for any music lately?
No, not lately. I think it's a club, isn't it now? It's club music.
Oh yeah, they don't even have the kind of nice.
They don't
lounge.
have that nice guys. The acoustic in the corner. I think they've got their license where it's all boom, 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 boom. Gives me,
I'll come play acoustic guitar for you guys in the corner.
You should.
You'll be like, okay, that's enough. After 3 minutes, can you play something else?
Great show today. Mike O'Reilly, Kamloops City Councillor, joins us from Vancouver. He's at the UBCM convention. We had to call an audible today. Thank you to Jon Keen of the Kamloops Blazers. Radio NL's Jon Keen, play-by-play man for the Kamloops Blazers. He saves the bacon because Dylan Sador and Logan Barris, we wanted to have them on, couldn't pull it off. We'll have them on next time, but Jon comes in. He's talking all things Blazers, home opener coming up this week.
It's good because we're taping this on September 20th and the home opener September 22nd. And John's always a font of knowledge, so it's actually good that he's here to lead us into the season.
Kamloops Storm, home opener this weekend as well.
That's true, yeah.
High hopes from them. Matt Cole, talked to him yesterday, the GM. He thinks we got a team that's very good. We want to go deep, some pressure kind of put on the coach a little bit.
Yeah.
Jan Ludvig saying, okay, you've had 1 year to get your feet wet, let's go.
We let you screw up, like he said. I self-admitted I screwed up for the first 2 months, but then I got going. And in today's newspaper and online at kamloopsthisweek.com, we have lots of preview of the Blazers and the Storm, in addition to your regular sports.
I like Jan Ludwig. I like the way he speaks to the media, likes the way he speaks to the players. Do you know who he is?
I know Jan.
Oh, you know
Jan?
Jan?
Player, and his son is a bruiser in an NHL team in the States.
Yeah.
I believe he's playing in the
AHL right now, yeah. And his daughter Katie is a world-class volleyball player.
Really?
Yeah.
And Jan's a great guy, longtime customer of ours.
I dealt with Katie for 5 years, the Wolfpack, amazing to deal with, just bright, shiny, good person.
Well, Jan appears to me to be a guy like he's just so genuine and honest, and he'll say stuff, and he has no word salad ability in his world, right?
No, but well, actually, he is good with his words, though.
Yeah. No, but he's not trying to say something. So
No.
he's not trying to say something. He's straight up.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And he put all the blame on himself.
Yeah.
He said, I was bad for 3 months last year.
That's in the story today. You can read it in the paper.
And he was a taskmaster, I believe, with his children. And he used to, or he probably still does.
Lac
He
Lejeune,
runs
right?
in Lac Lejeune these camps where he kind of puts athletes through the paces and with these kind of different kind of workout routines.
Yeah.
Everything okay?
Oh yeah, everything's great. I just realized when I was praising Jan about being a customer and knowing him and being a great guy, I realized my mic wasn't on.
Oh, okay. I can maybe boost it in post. We'll see. What we
Yeah,
can
maybe.
Boosted in post. That's cool.
Hey, you know what else is going on this weekend?
Professor, I'm going to boost it in post. Sorry, that just sounded so funny.
What else is going on this weekend is As You Wish. What movie is that from?
Princess Bride
Princess
is being shown
Bride.
downtown by the Downtown Kamloops and
Film Society and
Kamloops
Tourism
Film Society,
Kamloops.
Tourism Kamloops, and you. Lou's
And us,
Music's
we're-
behind
we're
it.
doing
Call
it.
the Locksmith too at the end.
Called the Locksmith?
Call the Locksmith. Is that the same movie?
I don't know.
I think it's the very end.
Andre the Giant.
Because they're trying to get. She's wearing a chastity belt, isn't she?
Inconceivable.
Can't
Oh,
remember.
Call the Locksmith, really? On the end?
can't
Isn't she
remember.
wearing a chastity
I
belt
don't
in the movie, or is it
know.
I got the wrong movie?
No, I think you got the wrong
I don't know.
movie.
I'm so excited to watch it,
I
though.
think
It's-
you're watching a movie that's not quite family friendly over there.
It was the one with the Andre the Giant.
Andre the Giant.
the
Mandy,
sword-
Mandy Pantigan. Who
That was the swordsman.
Yeah, he wanted to get revenge his father's death.
But, sir, I have a secret, too. I am not right-handed. I'm actually left-handed.
Yes. Great movie.
I was one of watching Mike's home furry videos. I think.
Oh, that's the one you were
Locksmith
watching
one.
with the
Well,
Locksmith.
there is some giant rat
Yes.
fighting scenes and where they're rolling
This
around.
is going to be Saturday night, the 23rd, 7 o'clock, the concession opens, 7:30 the film will start showing, right next to the Cami Inn, a great place, have a beer there.
Yep.
And the forecast looks good. No rain, but it's going to be chilly, so you got to bring your blanket.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So I was just excited about that. It's one of my all-time favorite movies.
It
Fred
is one of the
Savage
best.
is in it, too.
Yeah, Rob Reiner directed it. Columbo's in it. Peter Falk's
Yeah,
in it, too.
Columbo's in it, yeah.
It's a great movie.
And my favorite guy in the movie is the inconceivable
Yes,
guy.
I can't remember his name, but he's good. He was in My Dinner with Andre. What a great movie that
Oh,
is.
I
2
haven't
hours
seen
of him
that
just talking. That's
Really?
great.
With
yeah.
Andre the Giant.
No, with My Dinner with Andre.
Oh.
But Andre the Giant's in this one.
Yeah.
And the guy who says it's inconceivable, every time something is conceivable, I can't remember. He's a good character actor. He's in a lot of. We don't know his name, but he's in a
So
great
good.
movie, Canadian movie, 1981, called My Dinner with Andre. And it's two guys, and they just sit there and they talk about the world, the future, and a lot of what the one guy says is coming true today. It's really bizarre.
So there's a quick story here. In our new factory, we've got the clubhouse, which is a spot that we're going to have
In
a
Siki?
TV in Siki, yeah. And we're going to have a TV set up and
Sigmas.
all the classic movies. So I'm talking to Bill. I'm like, yeah, you can come by and work for a night or whatever, and we can watch movies together. It's going to be all the classic movies. I'm going to buy all the DVDs so I have them all and we can watch them. And I'm thinking Dumb and Dumber, Princess Bride, and Bill says to me, what two movies you said?
Blue Velvet.
Citizen Kane.
Citizen Kane.
The African Queen.
And the African Queen. I'm like
Humphrey Bogart.
no.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But maybe
Bill
if I would've-
Bill has very good taste in movies.
He's got an art history degree.
Well, this goes to show. It goes to show you don't.
All right,
Siki.
there you go.
Sicky.
That's
Yeah,
from,
we'll
you know
boost,
where I
we'll
got-
boost it in post when we're in Sicky.
Well, Siki comes from, so when I used to do color for the Chase Chiefs back in the day, their owner was Pittandre, and he'd go down and have a couple beers in the room after, and they didn't like Siki. Yeah, we're going to go down to Siki next week and beat the hell out of Siki. So that's where I got Siki.
Isn't that when you do in color with, what's his name?
Ian Douglas. Yeah.
Yeah, didn't Shane Doe come out of?
Shane Doe? Was he like a deer?
No, who's the big Sicky?
There's a big hockey player.
Yes.
Shea Weber.
Shea
Shea Weber, that's the name.
It's called
Yeah.
Shea Weber Drive, where the arena is right there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
right.
That's pretty good.
My son played in that arena under the banner of Shea Weber. Yes, right.
All right, let's talk about the UBCM convention before we have Mike on. Build Kamloops. Why do we want to talk to him about that?
Well, Build Kamloops is a plan, is an idea from City Council, and they formed a working group to work out the logistics of it. But in the past decade, we've had in the past 8 years, I think we've had 2 referendums on a performing arts center alone. One was for 90 million, one was for, 78 million. The first one got defeated by the people. The second one got defeated by the pandemic. Never happened.
Yeah.
So since we haven't had really anything built in this city since probably 2003, maybe with the Tournament Capital, Tournament Capital Center, there hasn't been much built. We're in a need for ice services. We're in a need for a modern single curling facility. We're in need for a performing arts center. We're in need for a lot of the stuff. So their thinking is, let's just look at what we need for the next 10, 20 years. It's going to be a big price tag, but it's going to get more expensive if you do it piecemeal going forward. So why don't we just say, here's what we need. We're going to get together and we're going to just say, we're going to go borrow and get sponsorship and try to build all this stuff over the next 10 years. What we need, and there'll be a lot of opposition because of costs and taxes. So that's what Build Kamloops is.
And UBCM, how does that factor in?
Yeah, there's the UBCM, which is a Union of B.C. Municipalities convention. Every September they meet. This year in Vancouver, a couple of years ago. Every few years they're in Whistler, and it's all the mayors and council and city staff. They go down there, they meet, and they have meetings with all the provincial ministers of tourism, minister of finance, minister of education, minister of health, and they get to talk to them. They got 15-minute increment. So the city Kamloops people are meeting with 8 or 9 different ministers and a deputy minister, and they have 15 minutes to sit in there and say, well, here's what I want to talk to you about. And they have the minister has staff, they take notes, and hopefully they get some traction.
Squash courts, I hope, are top of the list.
If they get some racquetball courts, I might go from pickleball to racquetball because it's such a fun game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Cancer Care Center, complete cancer care center.
Yeah.
What can be done at UBCM? Well, and what can really be done at these meetings?
Well, it's just, I think a lot of it is for Build Kamloops. It's to let Lana Popham, the tourism minister, know that, hey, we got this plan. We want to go to referendum, or we want to approve this. Just to let them know, here's what we're doing. So maybe you can talk to some people if you have any grants, if you have any sponsorship, if there's big companies that want to sponsor it, like Sandman Centre or like Dearborn Ford at Norbrook Stadium. Maybe you have the Tech Performing Arts Center, and they donate a lot of money to offset the taxpayers' money. And then with Adrian Dix, for example, they're meeting with the health minister, and they just want to remind them, hey, you guys your party made a promise in 1991 that you're going to build a complete cancer care center here. You broke that promise. You made a promise in the 2020 election. You broke that promise. So Adrian Dix was here just a few months ago to say, hey, we're going to build this new complete cancer center next to RIH. I think this is just a way to say, your third promise, we just want to make sure, where are you on it?
Maybe establish some timelines.
Yeah,
try
like
and get
where are
something
we?
harder on timelines.
We got the promise, but you're building out everywhere else. When, give us some more information, or even just to remind you, we're holding you to your word, which didn't seem to matter the last 2 times.
Mike Miltimore, if you were at these meetings and you had a chance to sit down with a minister and something that you wanted to get going in Kamloops, what would be top of mind for you?
Oh, that's a good question. I have been in these like SILGA. We do the Southern Interior Legislative Governance Association, which is kind of similar. It's all mayor and council kind of stuff. So I've sat down in the past and talked to property tax adjusters, like the guys that look at that. I've chatted personally with different ministers about using wood and trying to get some more energy going on in the manufacturing sector here. So yeah, I think this is an opportunity for mayors and councils to learn from other communities, but also to have that quick time. And when you're at these things, it's not what's happening at the time of, it's after or in between on the breaks that you get those meetings and those conversations.
Last one, we'll tee it up before Mike comes on. Dr. Bonnie Henry, decriminalization. she let it talk on it, I think.
Yeah, they had a session, I think, in the first. So the UBCM goes from Monday, we're at Wednesday now, goes to Friday with a bunch of sessions. I think on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, she led a talk on decriminalization. It was very well, much interest in it because what's happening, and Kamloops led the way with a bylaw. The federal government just recently changed the rules around it, saying you can't use or have drugs within so far of a park. But there's a lot of it's just a big mess. And she spoke to them, and I heard part of her presentation, and her main message, or one of her messages, was, please give us, give it some time. It's been about 10 months now, and nothing's really changed. The deaths keep going up, and I don't know, it just seems to be a mess. But she says we can't arrest our way out of this. And I think we all understand that. But then she said we can't treat our way out of this either. I remember she said that, and I thought, well, maybe she means completely, but my God, that's the first thing you start doing is to treat your way out of it. But we'll ask Mike about that, and he'll comment on that.
Luckily, because we knew it was going to be a busy week, didn't we? So our weekend we spent together, as we always do, the three of us. Didn't we, Mike? And what did we do to just enjoy ourselves?
Just totally wanted to relax. So we went to get some Sealy mattresses from Gord's Maytag.
Because that's how we relax.
Yeah, and we set them up in Chris's basement, up at the epitome of the heights of Kamloops there in his castle.
Ivory Tower.
And we decided to watch some really fun movies, which funny was Dumb and Dumber, one of my favorites.
Yes.
And,
which he doesn't like, but
hates.
I just have to remind everyone during the Big One sale, which is on now, you buy any two qualifying Maytag and Whirlpool kitchen appliances, you save $2, honey. You buy three, honey, you save.
So if you buy a fridge, a stove, and a dishwasher, you save $300.
You save $3, honey, and you can
that's
mix
a
and
complete
match.
setup. What about like a microwave, stove, and dishwasher?
Boom.
Wow.
You got it.
Fridge, stove, and microwave?
And with that, yes. And with
They're
that
just
money,
great
what I
guys.
would do is I would save it all up, and I'd wait till October, and I'd go to McDonald's, because what starts in October at McDonald's, guys?
It has to do with something with gross pumpkin spice. Did I just say that?
No.
Oh, good.
Monopoly.
Oh, Monopoly.
The annual Monopoly game, that's right.
Yes.
He was whining again, wasn't he, on the weekend, though?
Well, and during the week.
Well, I didn't want to watch Dumb and Dumber. I was like, Bill wasn't there because I got outvoted, but I wanted to watch Citizen Kane, and you guys and Mike said, of course, I don't want to watch the thing, but an old guy walking.
I couldn't find Citizen Kane.
Yeah,
So what did we do? We said, Foldsy, we slapped him. He said, get out of his own house. We watched it, and what did we do? We sent him on a car ride in an electric vehicle that was bought at Volkswagen. Terry Lowe.
Yeah.
Terry Lowe, and you got to remember, this guy, he tried to tell you and you wouldn't listen. You would not, it never computes with you ever, does it? It doesn't sink in with you.
He always thinks it's low, like Lowe, but it's actually LOW.
And he's talking about the low rates, and you can't get it through your head that they are low, and then you always think, well, it takes 6 months to wait for the VWs to get in.
I couldn't wait for one.
Wake up. There's a good stock in there right now, okay? There's 8 at least. There's probably down to 3 or 4 right now because people watch our show and then they march
Just
over like
run straight
it's
for
like
it.
it's Beauty and the Beast. It's Gaston leading a charge with light people marching over to buy Volkswagens.
Gaston.
Yeah, Gaston. He was a great villain in Beauty and the Beast.
You know, I was inspired from Dumb and Dumber, and if I had bought 3 appliances and had $300, I would get a Volkswagen and tow it was for sale for $300, a heart-shaped bathtub from Dumb and Dumber movie. And I so badly wanted to buy it, my wife wouldn't let me.
And $300 is exactly how much you'd save by shopping at Gord's.
That's right,
It's
yeah.
just amazing.
We could have
math
sat
adds up.
together in that heart-shaped bathtub watching movies.
That
We
math
could
adds up. That's right.
Amazing weekend again. Let's move on now to Above the Fold. It's brought to you by McDonald's. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Bop.
Hi, welcome to McDonald's. What can I get for you?
How are you doing this morning?
Good, how are you?
Good, I got a question for you.
Okay.
If I were to give you $1 million right now, what would you buy?
Okay.
What do you think you would buy?
A house
A house. So, where do you think you'd buy it? In Kamloops or somewhere else?
in Vancouver.
In Vancouver. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I'd buy. I would buy about 36,000 Grand Big Macs and about 37,000 Chicken McNuggies and about 49,000 Filet-O-Fish, but I'd wait till October to do it because that's when Monopoly starts.
Big fan of McDonald's.
Mike O'Reilly, you are in Vancouver right now. Before we talk business, have you had any free time? Have you ran the seawall? Have you been doing anything fun you can talk about outside of work?
Got a little bit of fresh air the first day because we knew it was supposed to rain yesterday. But you say I'm down in Vancouver, but dare I say I'm in the bowels of my hotel room.
Deep down in the bowels of your hotel room. All right, let's get to business here. You are at the UBCM convention. Let's start with Build Kamloops, okay? This is something that's near and dear to you. What can be done this week to kind of further that initiative?
Yeah, certainly we have a lot of meetings with a lot of different ministers down here. The city of Kamloops alone, we have meetings with 9 different ministers directly, and the TNRD has 12 ministers directly, and we kind of wear both hats. But on the Build Kamloops front, we will be meeting with Minister of Tourism, Arts and Culture, letting them know that we will hopefully be having some large facilities come forward across her desk, and that we would like that support. But it's starting to plant the seeds and letting them know that these aren't just buildings, but this is going to build our community and help with the services that our growing city needs.
What type of support can you drum up?
Yeah, I mean, the one thing is obviously government support. So when grants come out, which there will be, but at the same time, there are a lot of large private companies here as well, for potential sponsorship, which we know that will be a large component of being able to fund Build Kamloops is how many private dollars we're able to raise. So there'll be some conversations with those private sector groups as well.
Would you be talking to these people in the form of a possible P3 like we've seen in Chilliwack and in Kelowna and elsewhere?
Yeah, at this point, everything's on the table. But at the end of the day, sponsorship for facilities in Kamloops is nothing new. We don't have to look much further than the Sandman Centre, or what was Riverside Coliseum, or Sportmar Place, or Interior Savings Centre. And obviously, Warner Rentals as well has significant sponsorship. So, but those are large corporate dollars and corporate donations that they can go towards paying for facilities if and when we need to build them.
Last thing on the Build Kamloops thing, I know we've done a number of stories on it. We did a story back in the spring on the front page when we learned it might go to referendum. When might this go before the voters for a mass referendum? Has there been a ballpark timeline?
Yeah, there's one of the working groups that we've established under the Build Kamloops committee will be looking at just that. When is the timing of a referendum, if there's going to be one? There's the conversation that how quickly can we have things ready to go to a referendum? When we look at the fall coming up here in 24, we know that there's a provincial election at that same time. So you'd be fighting, trying to get messaging out either 2 or 3 weeks before a provincial or 2 or 3 weeks after, or do you push it to the next spring? All these things that working group will be looking at specifically the timing of that and how it will roll out.
Or do you just approve it and wait if there's a counter petition to go to referendum?
Yeah, certainly. I'm watching that very closely. The city of Kelowna is going for, I believe it's around 240 million, and they've decided to go the counter petition route. I've spoken with a couple of their councillors while I've been here, and talking with the mayor tomorrow, and just get an idea of how that's going, and I'm following that closely.
Yeah.
And if it were to go to counter petition and that not be proved successful, it can still go to a referendum after a failed counter petition. You can't go the other way around. You can't start with the referendum and then go to counter petition. So those are all the things that this engagement group, working group, will be looking at.
We saw that with the Parkade in 08, I think. Now, about the, were you in the audience when Dr. Bonnie Henry was talking about decriminalization and the problems therein and what she thinks we should do going forward?
Yeah, I was there for about half of it, and what I can tell you is the delegates from the communities in the crowd were very disappointed and quite shocked at what they were hearing, because it wasn't what they were wanting to hear. To even to the extent that the initial ask that would be considered decriminalized was twice the amount as what got put forward, but UBCM fought that hard to get the total amount reduced. But certainly it's very challenging for the impacts that these decisions have on communities. Whether you're living in Smithers or Kamloops or Chilliwack, we're all experiencing the outfall from these decisions, and with very limited resources to deal with them.
I know you got to go here. One quick one on the Complete Cancer Center care. Adrian Dix is there. How is that topic going to be approached?
Yeah, interesting. I had a meeting with the CFO of Ministry of Health yesterday, and have a meeting with Minister Dix on Thursday as well. So we'll be talking about cancer, and again with more Ministry of Health staff as well. So certainly we'll be pushing that. Again, you know, when I hear things come across on the Surrey hospitals now, $1.1 billion over budget. A week later, they announce a new cancer center rebuild in Burnaby, which I can only imagine it will be in the couple of $billion. Nanaimo is also going for $500 million cancer center rebuild, and ours. I want to make sure that Kamloops is close to the top of that list, and that's what we will be fighting for. And the city has a meeting directly with Minister Dix, and rather than 2 or 3 things to talk about in our meeting, we only have one thing that Kamloops wants to talk about, and that's cancer.
Last one, your colleague, our former colleague, Dale Bass, she said these meetings are often just filled with platitudes and promises to get back to you. She seemed a little bit kind of down on their ability to actually make change happen. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, you know, I think a couple things. One, what's different about this year is there's a provincial election in 10 months, and the ministers are listening very closely as what the wish lists are. And you know, within the next 10 months, there will be large announcements made for a multitude of different things. But outside of the meetings with ministers, it's the sidebar conversations, the meetings that you're having with colleagues across the province. You know, talking and you know, having dinner with ministers, for example. A lot more conversations happen around those tables, and running into them in hallways. You know, there's a lot of value, and I think most people that have been to large conferences understand that one of the biggest values is the conversations that you're having on the side.
All right.
Okay, get out of the bowels of that hotel room and get some work done. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep.
Okay.
Thanks.
Cheers. Thanks, Mike. This does not mean disco dancing, does it?
Unfortunately, it does not mean that when you open it, there's lights and music, no.
What does it mean?
This is the old model of the 507 KitchenAid fridge. It's the 36-inch, 72 inches high. This is the disco model. It's in perfect condition. It's just last year's model. They redid it, which we'll talk about in a second. But this is a really nice fridge, perfectly good condition. We just have it blown out for it's regularly $49.99, and we have it on for $34.99.
Ooh, that is a heck of a
really
discount
good
right
deal there.
The disco model, and then right next to it we have
The updated model, which first glance looks the exact same, but when you open it up, it's got a whole new updated interior. So it's got darker colored, and then it does have LED lights that light up when it's plugged in, so it looks really nice.
It's more disco than the disco model.
Right? And then it has these really nice, like, faux wooden accents there that just add that extra look to it, that aesthetic. So yeah, this one is a bit more. It's regular 46. We've got it on for 41.
All right, Jon Keen joins us late notice, hops in, saves the day for us this morning. John, how you doing?
Hey, great. We're media together. We have to, we have to have each other's backs. You need a new intro for that tattle, though. You're like 40 pounds lighter now. I think you gave the 40 pounds to me here, so you got to redo that one.
Oh, I don't know about that. Let's talk summer first here, okay? Before we talk hockey, how was it? The June bug, your boat. How was it out there on the river and the lake?
Well, as you know, you were out a few times with myself. Foulds, he was supposed to go too, but I think he declined the info. He probably had some Catalina wine mixer to attend or something.
Exactly.
But as you know, the water levels, Marty, were quite low this year in the river, and it wasn't the greatest year. But hey, we live and learn, and we move on, and it's hockey season now.
It is. So let's talk hockey. Before we talk about this season, let's talk about last season. How do you feel about it now? How do you reflect on it?
Well, I mean, I guess it was a great year. Just ran into a tough week, I think, at Memorial Cup. I think back to, losing Kyle Masters in that 10-1 game or whatever it was against Peterborough. That was tough because there wasn't a lot of depth when you start losing a guy that's basically number 2 in your minutes behind. And, Seattle was playing well. The Quebec Remparts, I think we learned, were a really, really good team. And I think the 2 best teams were probably in the final together. You're up 4-1 in that tiebreaker game. You want to close that out. Didn't happen. But overall, to rub shoulders with the best of the upper echelon of the CHL and be part of that and have a team like the Blazers had, I mean, it was awesome. It was, probably a once-in-a-lifetime experience to have a group like that. And now it's a whole new sort of other side of things here as the Blazers start sort of a new era now.
I was going to ask the guys about this, the pressure that they felt, but you have a good view of it too with your position with the team. You ride the bus with them, you're in the room a lot of the times. How big was the pressure on these young men during that tournament and that season, as a whole with so much pressure on them?
Here's the thing. Like, when the expectations are high, winning is like a relief. Like, it's almost not enjoyable. You know what I mean? Like, winning is like you're supposed to win. You're relieved that you did win. And I think, winning sometimes wasn't as fun as maybe it should be because, everyone expects you to win. So when the expectations are as high as they were, and I think the Blazers lived up to expectations. I really think they did. When you look at it here, they were a top team most of the year. They took a powerhouse Seattle team to 6 games in the conference finals. Fought back, and you were in the rink for that overtime loss in game 2. That was a tough one to take. So yeah, expectations, but it was a veteran team, and it was a team I think could shoulder those expectations because when you host a Memorial Cup and you put as much into it as you did, there can only be one winner at the end of the day, and I'm sure Seattle doesn't feel really great about things. I'm sure Peterborough doesn't feel great about things, and I'm sure the Blazers, looking back, probably don't feel great about things. And that's the thing, when there's only one winner, it's tough to feel good about, at the end of the year when you don't accomplish that goal.
I'm going to ask you for maybe some of your best memories or your best memory. I think we have a video clip here, though, Bill. Do you have that one teed up? It's a highlight for me. The game didn't end so well, but it's a good call from you here if we have that clip ready to go, Bill.
Ochin trying to dig it free. Finney trying to stick with him. They both go down. Blazers 3 up the puck. Sador has it. Sador holds. Wait, shoots! He was the question mark to play tonight, Dylan Sador. But he finds the range, holds onto it, delays a shot, then rips it glove side on Milic, and the Blazers have scored on their 5th shot on goal here in game number 6.
So we were going to have Dylan on to talk about that, so that's why I chose that clip. But I remember how loud it was in the building for that goal. What stands out to you about that or any other memories you want to share from the season?
I think just the excitement around having a massive trade go down when you add Olin Zellweger and Ryan Hofer. And you know how much, I like Ryan Hofer going in. And for that deal to get finalized and be like, okay, it's for real now, here we go. You saw the trade package go the other way. You add Olin Zellweger, who for me, guys, there was 2 top players in the WHL, heads and tails above everybody last season. One was Connor Bedard, the other was Olin Zellweger. And to have him here as a Blazer, I mean, it was a dream. Like, it really was to have Zellweger and Stankovic on the same power play and to go into Portland and sweep that series and then go back and forth, with Seattle to win that game 5 in Seattle, when all odds are stacked against you, and to win that game and the highs of that, and then busting back to the night to hopefully try and do it in a game 6 again. I mean, this is what you live for. This is why you do it. And, it was such a star-studded group, and, to be in the spotlight of junior hockey in the CHL, that's what you do it for, right?
All right, let's look forward now. It's a different team. We don't need to roll through who's not here. I just want to get your take on the turnover and kind of the vibe around the team right now.
Yeah, I think with all the losses of players, this coaching staff and this organization still has a very high bar. It's maybe not as high a bar as that I have them in, but this team has won 4 straight division titles. This division doesn't have super powerhouses in it. I think Prince George probably going in with what they've been building towards probably is the favorite. But I think somewhere in the middle of the pack, but we're going to have to wait and see how things play out. one player, two players can really flip the script on your narrative for a season. All of a sudden, player comes back from pro, or this player takes a big jump, and all of a sudden, what you think is like, oh, let's try to keep it around 500 becomes let's compete for home ice advantage again here. And time will tell how this plays out. It's always tough to make predictions because you don't know how teams will react and who's ready to make a jump and what players really take a next step. But it's exciting in a way where last year we had all these marquee players, all these NHL signed players. I mean, there was so much dollars in that dressing room last year. Crazy. Now we're looking at a situation where it's going to be fun to see these 16 and 17-year-olds grow and have some growing pains for sure. But we're going to see the next group. Like thinking back to the 2003 draft, Stankoven, Bankier, Semenoff, Barros, like how great was that to see Caden Bankier come from a gangly kid to, world junior forward and Matthew Semenoff right there. Like, this is what it is. Like, this is junior hockey, and we're going to get a dose of that here again of player development and seeing who the next wave is and seeing who these players are that will be household names in the next couple of years.
Foulds?
I want to talk about the coaching styles, the coaching generations. With the Mike Babcock story, that weird story still in there. He lasted it as long as he didn't last very long in Columbus because he was doing some weird stuff. And it got me thinking about old school coaching, new school coaching. There's people who think that the players today are too soft. There's people who think that the old school coaching is the wrong way to go because everyone deserves respect. You've been around long enough to deal with real old school coaches and what I call new age coaches and the ones in between. What's your take on this? Is there any room today for a hybrid, or are we in a different generation altogether?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when you invited me for lunch at your place one time, and you went through my phone, and then done. So, like that happens, Yeah, good question. And I don't know. You look at the Western League right now, and the coaches in the Western League. Like, look at the Western Conference. You have guys like Kevin Constantine's back in the conference with Wenatchee. You have Mike Johnston in Portland. I mean, the coaching experience here in this conference is off the charts. Really, you got Manny Viveros going into Vancouver. You have quote unquote old school coaches in this conference, but I think I'll give a lot of credit to these coaches. They have found a way to adapt. It's an old phrase we use in media in general. It's like adapt or die, right? Are you a dinosaur? Is the meteor going to come and end your coaching career, or are you going to find a way to adapt to how it goes? And I think for the most part, coaches are adapting. Like don't get me wrong. Like I'm from somewhat of the old school, I guess. I'm from the prairies and the way that hockey teams play and are constructed and how they're coached. But it's definitely a change in vibes. You can't do certain things that maybe you could have done 10, 20 years ago. Bill Peters is back, guys, in the Western League, right?
Yeah.
Like, you want to look at it. You want to say, okay, is the WHL adapting? Well, not really. I mean, coaching-wise, like as far as age and experience, no, they're regressing. If you want, I don't want to call it regressing, but they're almost going more of the traditional coach. I don't know what works, guys. Like I think you have to have trust. Trust is number one, and if a team trusts their coach and vice versa, you can get a lot out of that. I think the Blazers. The players have had a lot of trust in their coaches with Don Hay and Sean Clouston. Sean runs the Blazers almost like a pro team, as far as expectations and interactions. He's not into games or he's not into, doing things under the table. It's very upfront, and I think that's the best way to do it is just be upfront with your players and so they know what the expectations are.
All right. Before we let you go, anybody off the board, kind of a player that might surprise outside of kind of the bigger names, or anyone you're looking forward to seeing in particular grow this season?
A couple off the top of my head. I think Jesse Sange could be a really good goaltender. He told me the other day, like he completely revamped his game to model himself after Dylan Garand, which is crazy. And I saw him move around in the crease, there was side to side, post to post. And I was like, yeah, you see a little Dylan Garand at his movement. So that's good. I think Harrison Brunick is poised for a big year, big draft year, and a young forward to watch that is still very green but looks very dynamic is Zach Panelakis. And I'm sure you'll have him on and have some big Greek feast, or you'll do something like that. But it's, yeah, those are some names off the top of my head, guys, to watch for. It all kicks off here Friday night. And, yeah, I think the Blazers will have to change what they view as winning. They'll have to sort of lower their bar. And what is a win? There'll be nights where they don't play they'll play great up to their expectations, but not win. Maybe that has to be a moral victory. Maybe that has to be the way they approach things a bit differently this year.
You guys want to talk CFL before we go here?
Sure.
Oh.
I think we're going to try and get Sean White in the show next week.
We should. That game last week was just amazing.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They were down 22 points with 2.5 minutes left. 19 points with 2.5 minutes left, and they win. It was kind of bittersweet because I was cursing. I was going to quit the team. I wanted to win the lottery to buy the team and fire the coaching staff. But they come back and they do the most incredible comeback I've ever seen. But they shouldn't have been in that position to begin with. But it just shows you the CFL. The last 3 minutes are just
and it shows he just devalues the rest of the game with those rules. Also, there's a photo of you.
I guess I would have been more excited had we walked off the field like in Buffalo with 10 minutes left and what 13 timeouts per half? Is that how it goes?
Have you seen the
40-minute time clock? Is that what it's? Yeah.
Have you seen the photo of Foulds jumping on Facebook when they scored that? He's got his red wine, I think.
Yeah, I got my red wine.
I want to see it. Do you have it ready?
No,
my wife took a picture of me because she looked up the score. I taped the game, right, because I wanted to watch it with her when she got home. So she was watching it, and then she was getting kind of antsy because I was really in a bad mood, and then she looked it up without me knowing, and then so she knew they won, but she was so she was ready that they got that going.
Guys, actually, on the same theme of that, there's a great video right now, on social media where she's a girl that runs socials for a team, and she videotaped her dad, a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, in that season opener against San Francisco, and how he was like, pointing at the screen like, "You're fired, you're fired, you're out of here." And it's a great video, and he's a singer boy. Hey, that defense sucks. Mike Tomlin, you're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. Out of here. What is Holcomb? What is he doing? Freaking joke. You have to be fired. Tomlin, you suck. Get out of here. You suck. Sick of Tomlin next time. And then after you're Tomlin, we're JD. Well, then if you're JD, get fired then. You should be embarrassed. Embarrassed. If I was Tomlin, I'd bury my head in that field. That's how embarrassing this is. I wanted to tank. I wanted to go 1-16 and get Tomlin his head out of here. I've had enough of Mike Tomlin. For me, it was like, that's Chris Foulds. That is Chris Foulds right there. So find that video if you can. Oh, so good.
The number of times he's fired Rick Campbell from his basement, it's unbelievable.
Yep.
Yeah, well.
I agree. Yeah.
No, he's the coach of the year now, let me tell you. Yes. But the Riders, what do you think of your Riders?
I don't know. I mean, they won the Labor Day game, so that's their parade.
That's their Grey Cup.
Season,
yeah.
Right, that's their Grey Cup. And then, of course, classic Riders, they go into the rematch. I don't call it the Banjo Bowl. I think that's like a slur. I don't want to use that word. But, and of course, they just completely lay an egg. I don't think they're a playoff team, but they'll probably find a way to grab that third spot or a crossover in the East. We'll see.
Right.
Okay. All right. John, you saved our bacon. You did a great job. Thanks again.
Always here for you guys. You guys have a great rest of your week and your weekend, and love the show. Always watch. The mayor always comes on and does his thing, and it's always can't miss TV. So appreciate you guys doing this.
All right, take her easy. We'll see you at the rink.
Volkswagen.
Glad you stuck around. You didn't want to be here, but you stayed. Any thoughts on the show?
I'm always here. I learned a lot, it's good to see Mike O'Reilly. It's good to mix him up on here, the city councillors. I know we have the monthly segment with the mayor, which is popular and it's interesting, and we try to ask him some questions. And I know we've had all the councillors have been on here because when they were running for office last year, and we've had some since then. And I've reached out to them to say, you guys want to come on and talk about it? I know Katie Newsteaders, we tried to get her last week and this week, but she was busy with meetings and she's down in Vancouver. But we should have them on more often, just here and there, just to talk about issues in the city, because we need the perspective of all of them. We've also had city staff on here.
Yeah.
So I like that. And then with Mike down in Vancouver,
We've mixed it up pretty good. We've had Karpuk on
No,
here.
it's very good. Yeah, we should keep doing that. I mean, I know that Michael Riley's a good spokesperson. He's the head of the hospital board. They're in the news this week doing some good stuff, and it's good. It's good to see what they're doing down there. And I guarantee you this: I don't think any of them are in the champagne room this year. I guarantee you right now that they're watching the purse strings quite well.
And Mike, you loved the Blazers segment. I know you were.
Oh yeah, I was transfixed with everything that you guys were saying. Don't get me wrong, I like the Blazers. I just don't know any of the words that you guys were using. I looked at Bill and said, "Who?" Bill. Yeah. By the way, we did some research while we were talking. Our crack researcher, Bill here, has got some information for us that we were asking about.
Wallace Shawn is the name of the actor.
Wallace Shawn.
Wallace Shawn, that's right. Inconceivable. That's right. Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
It's kind of got the shades of "You're Out of Your Element," Donnie. If that's all he says is inconceivable. Or?
Oh no, you got to watch it.
Yeah, well, that's
I wanna
his-
watch
that's
it with
his
you.
catchphrase. Actually, you should go onto YouTube, because I think on YouTube you can watch that other show I was talking about, My Dinner with Andre, and I think it's free. So you just put it on and you sit there.
That's
but you
a
want
sign
to
of a
watch
good
it.
show.
You want to watch it with no one around. Put the dogs away. Put the wife in another room, and just focus on it,
put the wife
because
in
it's
another
all
room.
dialogue, and there's no car explosions. So sisters that can't watch it. It's just a great movie. Turn the lights out. Watch it. It's very deep, very good movie, and he's in it.
You can't wait for the next Ant-Man. I know that.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
Iron
going to be
Man.
great. It's on top of the world, that one.
Can't do the show without our sponsors. Steve Rogers, Gord Stevens at Gord's Appliance and Mattress Center. We love you. Get out there. I'm out there every week talking to his daughter, Reese Wilson. She's a
Good
beauty.
commercials. Good commercials.
Having fun with her. Terry Low at Volkswagen. The low rates are unbelievable. His support's unbelievable. We thank him. Brandy Seacon at McDonald's.
I got my
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
French fry pen. Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even know where I got the French fry pen. McDonald's.
worked out well. And we have careened, sped over the 450 subscriber mark. We're at 452 subscribers now. Moving on up.
Nice.
450 subbies. That's good.
Subs. You don't say
Subbies,
subbies.
Siggy, subbies.
It's not subbies.
Hey, we'll just fix that in post.
Yes, I actually have a friend named, we call him Sub, because he's a subpar cook, Robbie Clifford.
Really?
Yeah, Subs. We call him Subs. Subby Dubby sometimes.
Okay. Well, I like our subs.
Good story. Okay. For Chris, for Magic Mike, for Bill, I'm Marty. We'll see you last week.